Hey everybody, this is part 2 of our latest Bears 100 Proof, recorded on Tuesday night, August 21st. And remember, Bears 100 Proof is intended for mature audiences because of our juvenile behavior. Thank you.
Hello.
There he is.
Russell Baxter. Welcome
Me.
to Bears Bar Room 100 Proof.
Well, hello there. How are you?
I'm good. Obviously, I'm Bears Girl, and you know who's on the line tonight? Aldo Gandia behind the producer board.
Hey, Russell!
Draft Dr. Phil is here as well. And smartest man, Shayne Marsaw.
And let's get it on.
And they are looking forward to talking to you about Bears and football.
That would be great. How's all your recording doing tonight? You guys had quite the list.
Yeah, and we're not even halfway through.
Will you record all night?
No.
No, oh, God, no.
3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll have it wrapped up by 4 a.m.
And that is Shayne Marsaw. Shayne, meet Russell.
Shayne, how
Russell,
are you?
meet Shayne.
I'm wonderful, Russell. How are you? Nice to finally
I'm doing
talk to
terrific.
you.
You too. I'm looking forward to this tonight and stuff. I really like what you guys are doing. You guys throw a lot of positive stuff out there. You branch out. I'm all for watching different things grow and so on. You know, I've been doing this for a long time and got into it. I still don't understand how I got into it without a college education and somehow wound up at ESPN for 22 years. So, it's fun. It's football and stuff. So it's fun to see what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you very much. Russell, can you, from a national perspective, can you tell us what you think for the Chicago Bears this season? Because we'd love to get kind of the take at what the national media is talking about.
Well, I've been one of those people who thinks that the Bears are the most intriguing team in the NFC, and I say that because this is a conference that a year ago only returned one team to the playoffs. The longest active playoff streak in the NFC is 2 years in a row, and that's owned by the Atlanta Falcons. We saw Philly come from the basement to win the Super Bowl. We saw 4 division winners. None of them had a winning record the year before they won their divisions. The Eagles, the Vikings, the Saints, and the Rams. The conference is very strong top to bottom. And I look at what the Bears did in the offseason, and I thought they made obviously the very significant moves in bringing in the free agent wide receivers and Trey Burton, and I love Anthony Miller, the second-round pick. I know a lot of people are trying to connect the dots if Sean McVay could take the lowest scoring team in the league and transfer them in 1 year, can Matt Nagy do the same with the Bears? But I thought the biggest move the Bears made all season was a move that didn't happen, and that was Vic Fangio returning as defensive coordinator. You know, I've watched the Bears with a lot of promise in terms of defense. It finally started to kind of come around this past year. I think in some ways, because of the strength of the conference, some of the teams, there are teams that are certainly under the radar. Now, I can understand the Bears being under the radar because when you go 19-45 over a 4-year span, and you don't stop subletting in the NFC North basement, you're actually rebuilding in the NFC North base 4 years in a row. I get it where they can be somewhat forgotten, but I'll tell you, that NFC North from top to bottom is pretty formidable. And I mean that in terms of all 4 teams. Kirk Cousins, maybe dotting the I's and crossing the T's with Minnesota. The Packers making some moves as well. Matt Patricia. And, oh, my goodness, could the Lions actually run the football this year? That would be amazing. And then maybe some offensive balance or offense, period, with the Chicago Bears. So I know they haven't made the playoffs since 2010. I'm not ready to put them in the postseason. I'm not ready to book a trip to Atlanta and so on. But I think they're a very under-the-radar story when it comes to league-wide perception.
Russell, you're talking about the league-wide perception. If they're building some momentum. What was that?
Just something on my computer, but it was actually so impressed by your voice that it sent out these loving tones.
It is. Russell, I got to be honest, the ladies love it. They're beating down my bathroom door right now. But no, you talked about the national perception. More times than not, when we're talking about the Chicago media, they default to negative, and most of the time with the Bears. What is something with you being outside the box of Chicago? What is something that worries you about the direction that the Chicago Bears are going?
Well, I'm never one of those guys when you make a lot of free agent moves in one off season, Shayne, as the Bears have done over the last couple of years. To me, less is more. It's one of the reasons I'm very high on Atlanta this year. It seems like they really like their roster, and they only brought in a few people in terms of veteran free agents. But again, I look at Chicago's defense this past year, and they really kind of stepped up their game. Now, of course, the fear is that the offense doesn't come around. And I'm not expecting the Bears to go from dead last in passing and 13 touchdown passes as a team this past year to all of a sudden becoming the greatest show on turf. I just like them to be a little more productive. They've got a decent backfield combination, but they still didn't put up all-inspiring running numbers. And it's very possible that Mitch Trubisky and the offense take some time in coming around. So that's the fear. The fear is that they could wind up digging themselves a big hole. And again, in this conference, I wouldn't be surprised to see, and we saw it last year, we saw a 9-7 Seattle team not make the playoffs. Okay. So we saw a 9-7 Detroit team not make the playoffs. We've seen 10-6 teams not make the playoffs. Digging yourself an early hole in this conference could be a problem. And I think when you have a new coaching staff, when you have the changes that they have on their wide receiving core, and if it does take time, I guess this is the way to put it. If the offense struggles out of the gate, can the defense bail them out on more than one occasion? I'm not sure about that yet.
Russell, who's the best player on the Bears in your mind?
Who's the best player on the Bears? That's a really intriguing question. I like Jordan Howard a lot, but if I had to pick, and a lot of this is, I'm more of a defensive guy. I'm on that adage of defense wins championships. If you have a good defense, it can carry you a long way. We've seen it so many different times. The Broncos is a perfect example in 2015. I look right now, and Akeem Hicks, probably their best defensive lineman, and in some ways almost had an underrated year last year, even though he put up big numbers. I think I would lean him as much as anyone else. Now, by the end of the year, could it be Allen Robinson? Could it be Anthony Miller? Could it be, I know Roquan Smith hasn't taken the field yet. I think this week against Kansas City, correct?
He's got a little injury, owie.
Dealing with an owie, yeah. It's a little hammy injury.
I don't, you guys know more than I if he actually is going to take the field this week and so on. But to me, if you had to pin me down, I would say it's Akeem Hicks.
Russell, now are you, I know you're the football guru. Are you involved in the draft process? Are you like a equal draft guru also? NFL draft?
Well, let me tell you the origin of Pro Football Guru, okay? I spent a lot of time at ESPN, like I said, 22 years. And one of Chicago's favorite sons, per se, Mike Greenberg, of Mike and Mike fame, we used to do a segment called, Greeny. We used to do a segment called The 5 Things You Need to Know. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. And, I've been gone from ESPN for about 7 years. But we did a radio segment where it was basically 4 statistics about what was going on in the games that week. And one statistic tormenting Mike Greenberg because he is an unapologetic Jets fan. And we would tape it on Thursday. We'd take the voice aspect of it and so on. But anyway, for years and years and years, Mike Greenberg would introduce me as the dean and the guru of the NFL research department at ESPN. So I have never applied for guru status at any one time, and often I really don't refer to myself as a guru. No, I'm not really a draft guy because I more concentrate on NFL history and NFL trends. I don't really scout players. It's hard for me to give a proper evaluation of, breaking down players because I really don't get a chance to see the film and so on. When I was at ESPN, I handled more of the NFL behind the scenes stuff. They had other people, obviously Mel Kiper Jr. and then later Todd McShay, who really kind of handled the draft aspect of it.
Russell, when you look at the Bears and you talk about their defense, obviously the other side of the coin with the offense, there's a polarizing second-year player. What are your feelings about Mitchell Trubisky, not only his fit in the Nagy offensive philosophy, but also just him being a leader of men and how he's being attacked by the national media and now it seems like the local media for his flair and his demeanor on the sideline this past weekend?
Yeah, I've always been fascinated by that. And by the way, what is it with the Chicago Bears quarterbacks and being on the sidelines? I mean,
I don't know.
we got a psychological evaluation of Jay Cutler for years.
Exactly.
And even an injury breakdown in the 2010 NFC title game as well. I was always fascinated. You know how it is on social media now. If you're looking for a doctor, there's a million of them. As soon as someone goes down and torn ACL, torn this, torn that. Listen, I've heard the body language argument with Peyton Manning. I've heard the body language argument with Eli Manning. The dissection never continues with these guys. When I saw Mitch Trubisky last summer in the preseason, I just kind of liked, when I look at rookies, again, I don't break down guys in terms of their college film. To me, it's the old adage, never let them see you sweat. Let's get into the game and pretend I know what the hell I'm doing, even though I don't know what I'm doing, basically. That offense last year was obviously very, very limited for a lot of different reasons. Now he's learning a new offense. Patience has got to be exercised to a degree. I understand the impatience because here's a quarterback that was taken with the second overall pick. People see what happened last year with the Rams and with Sean McVay, whether that's fair or not. People want instant results. So I kind of get a little weary of the total dissection of watching someone on the sidelines or on the field and trying to determine their mindset because they might have gotten, swallowed a bug or something like that.
Hey, listeners, we had a slight technical difficulty here, so we missed one of Russell's responses, and we're picking it up now with our backup audio system for the next several minutes and then back to our normal recording system. So please excuse the audio infidelity issues or fidelity issues. Thanks.
Hey, Russell, you brought up something that just kind of conjured up one of the least favorite NFL moments ever when you talked about Tom Jackson. You see a guy like Jay Cutler that was getting his game face on walking into Soldier Field for the NFC Championship game versus Green Bay in 2010, and you referred to that earlier when he got hurt. But in the pregame show leading up to that, Tom Jackson, they showed Jay Cutler walking in, and Tom Jackson said, "Now, guys, let's stop right here. Now, you got a guy like Jay Cutler. You see what he did right there? He was walking in the tunnel into Soldier Field, and he just walked by a guy, and he didn't say anything to him. This is a guy that's there, that's probably worked in the stadium for 15 years, and you got a guy like Jay Cutler that just walks by this guy, never says a word to him. I don't know what this is, but it's definitely something." Now, you're talking about your really close friend with Tom Jackson. Now, we're talking about putting a narrative, a bullshit narrative out there about a player, quite honestly. And that was one of my least favorite moments of being an NFL fan, seeing or hearing a guy like Tom Jackson make a comment like that when this kid's walking in to the biggest moment of his life. I don't know if you're familiar with the situation, but that's the stuff that just irritates the hell out of me with national analysts. And quite honestly, I lost a whole bunch of respect for Tom Jackson that day.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, do you have a comment on that? Or, I mean, does that fit it?
No, you would have to ask him about that, I would believe, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but you're saying that you're close friends to him, so I thought it was obviously relevant.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't know how I would speak for Tom in this regard.
You don't have to. Do you have a comment on that situation? Does Russell Baxter have a comment?
No, I really don't, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Move on. BG, you're up.
Actually, Aldo is up.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I will make a comment on that. I think that many members of the national media have this kind of prescribed notion about certain players. You know, it's much like people in regular society. You know, you build this perception of a player, you hear the mythology of a player, and you kind of carry that on. And so I think Tom Jackson, you know, he's heard that Jay can be aloof and distant and maybe not a great leader, and so he saw that and picked that as a moment to, you know, kind of apply that narrative without really knowing the truth that Jay was beloved by most of the players on that roster. He may not be a social animal with people who are not a part of the team, but you know, we've talked to Kyle Long on this show, and Kyle will tell you that he loved Jay Cutler, that he would have put his body on the line for him every time. So I kind of you know.
But, you know, just to not to get off of Russell here, but
sure,
if Aaron Rodgers or, Jesus, even Blake Bortles is walking in the stadium under that situation, it's, you know, they're competitors, they're focused on the job at hand. I just thought it was the ultimate cheap shot at this kid's, you know, crowning moment in the NFL. And I still remember there's clips of it on YouTube, and I don't know, I find myself sometimes going back and watching that, and I still get pissed off listening to it. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Yes, Jay Cutler can project the don't care attitude, but I thought that was the ultimate cheap shot.
Well, I think it's always dangerous. I mean, I can't. I hope you're not expecting me to speak for Tom Jackson, because I'm not.
I'm not asking you to throw your friend under the bus, Russell. We're talking about the national narrative and how things get painted. And to me, I mean, you've been around football. You're the football guru. I'm just saying, you see these guys. He's going into preparing for the NFC Championship game. I know in my involvement in sports, I'm the same way. That's why these guys are professional athletes. They're a different breed. They're a type A personality. They're really, really good at what they do. And I mean, to single out a guy, who knows if Jay Cutler even knew that guy? It just irritated me that it seemed like Tom went out of his way to take take his chance to berate the kid at that time. I just thought it was classless. But I mean, I'm not asking you to take a stance and throw Tom under the bus. I'm just talking about the situation in general. You know, in the environment that we live in, where negativity sells, and Jay Cutler's been painted with that brush, so I thought it was relevant.
Well, Shayne,
the only thing I will say in that regard is, let's not forget that Tom played the game for 14 years, okay? And I know that in working with him, he often will put himself in a player's shoes in terms of team perception and so on. He's not, to be honest with you, he's not a cheap shot guy. He's made other comments, obviously, that have not been as popular as well, and so on. So I totally get where you're coming from. I think there's always a danger, regardless if you played this game or not, to look at a piece of video and make a comment and so on without knowing situation. I mean, this is my own personal feeling on Jay, okay? I think much too much gets talked about his demeanor. We just talked about that 20 minutes ago. the psychologist on the sidelines and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that, and I don't know to what degree it affects him, that he is diabetic, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That's a huge factor.
I know from being a type 2 diabetic
Yeah.
of how you can feel physically. I don't know how he does what he does
Mm-hmm.
or did what he did playing professional football being a type 1 diabetic. Okay, so to analyze even further a person who's dealing with that, which can very much affect your mood. I've had low blood sugar attacks. I'm sure he has as well.
Russell, I'll get you a Snickers bar next time we're tweeting at each other. Maybe that'll make up for it.
From what I heard, Russell, the story goes like this. Tom was in Chicago, okay? He was doing a game. He walked into the tunnel, met this guy named Jerome. Jerome has worked there for 15 years. Jay had never said hello to Jerome in his time there. And thus, Tom was upset that his new friend, Jerome... No, I'm joking. The whole thing is made up, Russell.
Kidding, really? You mean
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That
I would
Tom
probably
did...
not know that. I'm trying to, because Tom doesn't do games.
Exactly. So what I was saying is that Tom took it just what we're talking about. And that's why Shayne was like, you got to be able to say, yeah, that ain't right that he did that, because it's the body language, it's the narrative, and it was just a pig pile on. And I know the exact moment because I remember watching it exact moment and saying the same goddamn thing. Like, it's just a cheap shot. And to your point, which is a good one, the type 1 diabetic and the mental processing of football and preparedness, how people deal with a funeral. You know, they have a family member passed away and everyone's going to judge them by how they handle themselves. People deal and process things differently. To say something like that was atrocious. It was ridiculous on every way, but, you know, that's what it is. But, Russell, I got to tell you, you know, I never met you. We live, like, next door to each other, probably, because I'm in the south side of Meriden, and South Meriden, so Cheshire's right now. So,
you're the guy who makes all the noise at night. Okay.
Yeah, that's me. I'm making songs. I'm writing a song about you. So I got to tell you this, though.
I will say this. I'm glad you brought up the funeral aspect. I can remember very, very vividly the Packers in 2011, who were prolific offensively, and then went into the playoffs dealing with the fact that Joe Philbin lost his son. And I remember Aaron Rodgers saying afterwards it was the first time he had ever been to a funeral. And that sticks in my head, too. Again, oftentimes forgetting the human side of what these guys are, okay? I mean, you know, they do our bidding as far as fantasy football and winning games and being blamed for losing games and so on. But sometimes a lot of people, all of us at one time or another, forget that these are human beings. So your points are all well taken. I certainly understand where you're coming from.
Russell, that's a great way to end our interview. I really appreciate your time, and we hope to have you back again sometime during the season. You can kind of give us a bigger perspective on what's going on in the NFL, and again, give us kind of the national take on our Chicago Bears.
Well, that would be absolutely great, but I would be remiss if I didn't take issue with Shayne for a little bit here.
Okay,
so,
go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm more of an Almond Joy guy than a Snickers.
Ever had a Snickers almond? I love almonds. You like almonds?
I like almonds.
Yeah, everybody loves almonds.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, we can set you up. You know, I'm not diabetic myself, but my father, you know, Phil alluded to it. My father is, and you know, I got to give. You're talking about being a big history guy, not to go on too much, but I, you know, think that John Madden is the one guy that defended Jay Cutler after all of that mess. You know, the NFC Championship game, and came out and defended him and brought up because his grandson is a type 2 diabetic. You know, not a lot of people know that Jay Cutler goes out and gets tested 6 times per game. You know, And Russell, like you said, you being a diabetic, I live with it with my father, and I see how it's affected his life. He's, on the brink of possibly losing his foot, and just imagine being a professional athlete dealing with that. So, yeah, but we'll see.
I'm trying to remember. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm trying to remember. There was a Steelers lineman who also dealt with diabetes. He was a first-round pick. I'm going blank on his name right now, and it wound up causing him to retire kind of early and so on. But he dealt with it as well. Type 1 diabetes. Again, I can't even imagine dealing with that on a day-to-day basis, and then going out and running around, being chased, throwing a football, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then having to be concerned about your blood sugar at the same time. So again, all your points are very, very warranted. I certainly understand where you're coming from and so on. I understand the frustration as well with so on. I wish I could say something more than that, but I'm very big on people and how people treat other people. And listen, there's obviously all the people I work with, I don't agree with everything they say all the time and so on. And they certainly don't agree with everything I say all the time, although I'm more of a fact person. So they kind of more rely on me for stats and not necessarily opinion. But Shayne, your point is certainly very, very well taken.
Russell, tell our listeners where they can find you on Twitter. Oh,
okay. Well, after I get done my Almond Joy, and don't try to fool me with a Mounds, okay? I want okay? Bax Football Guru is the Twitter handle. ProFootballGuru.com is the website. Pro Football Guru on Facebook as well. I tell everybody, if you follow me on Twitter, you're going to get everything I write. My primary gigs right now are Fansided and NFL Spin Zone. Have a piece coming out Wednesday morning called "The Greatest What If in Every Team's History." So it's a second guessing type of piece, but it's done with a lot of fun and a lot of perspective.
Excellent. We'll pass it on our Twitter feed, and really appreciate you spending time with us.
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun. I look forward to doing it again.
Very good, Russell. Take care.
Hi, Russell.
Thanks, Russell. I only sweated a little bit. Just a little bit. I got a little lathered up. Tom Jackson.
Yeah, we could tell. Hey, is that Trey busy on the phone?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Unfortunately.
Sorry to keep you waiting, brother. Very, very sorry.
You're 25 minutes late.
Trey, you like Almond Joy or Snickers?
I'm a Reese's kind of guy.
Hey.
That's not what I asked, Trey. You like Snickers or Almond Joy?
Sometimes, man, you got to break the mold. think outside the questions that you asked. Because I know it's a setup.
Russell likes nuts.
I don't like almond. I don't like. Is it Almond Joy the one with coconut in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't fuck with
that's
that
Mounds.
shit. I can't fuck with that shit.
I thought Almond Joy had coconut and almonds.
Maybe it does, but I know Mounds does for sure.
Don't they got a picture of coconut on it?
Don't speak unless you know your candies, Canada.
Really?
Correct.
You don't even have the best candy. Anyway, move on to Please
stop.
There we go. We invented the shit.
All right, we're moving on. We're moving on. What do you want to do first? Trey, we're like way fucking behind. So I'm asking.
Yeah, it does have. Just so you guys know, it does have coconut in it. So fuck Almond Joy.
Yeah, see, that's my boy there.
Thank you.
I had to go make sure because I thought I seen a fucking commercial for it recently.
How to do his research.
Do your research.
Do your research.
Ball watchers eat Almond Joy.
He's a beer ball watcher.
I'm sure.
So, Trey, you are actually joining us for.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No Almond Joy for me, yeah.
He's the smartest man. He's gone to colleges to explain the theory of evolution and how a tadpole becomes a frog. But for some reason, he can't explain to anyone how a podcast radio network is a fucking blog. He's the smartest man, and this is his dumbest tweet.
All right. I bet that Shayne, the smartest man in the barroom, had a lot of choices to pick from for the shitty tweet of the week. Let's see where he landed. Shayne, all yours.
I did. I had a lot of them. I probably spent a good 15 minutes going through Russell's tweets to me, see which one I could pick up. But we're going to kick off the first dumb tweet of the week with @M Lombardi NFL, Michael Lombardi. He's worked for the Oakland Raiders, was on NFL Network, came back and was heading up the Cleveland Browns. And he put out this infinite wisdom today. Last preseason, Deshaun Watson was at a 51% completion rate and 0 touchdowns with a 67.3 rating. Mitchell Trubisky was at a 68% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, and a 106 quarterback rating. Numbers can lie in the preseason. So listening to that tweet, what would you guys think that Mr. Lombardi is trying to push?
That Deshaun, the better player in the regular season, and that just because they look good in the preseason doesn't mean they're going to look good in the regular season like Deshaun did.
Do you think that there was a hint of what we saw Mr. Cowherd spewing today? Do you think maybe he listened to a little bit of that national radio show and wanted to jump on the bandwagon a little bit? You think there was any of that going on?
It sounded like he was trying to take a slight at Mitchell Trubisky, though.
Exactly.
Saying he had a bad first season. So
That's exactly what he's doing.
But, he says that numbers can lie.
Don't we have the Coward audio? Because I didn't hear it. Super producer.
Super producer. Trubisky. He is incomplete.
Is that it? Oh, that's the old one. Hold on.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada. Is she distracting you?
Who else are you going to blame?
Is she distracting you behind the boards?
No.
But I remember when in 2017, there were 8 or 9 quarterbacks available. And I came on the air and I said, I don't buy Mitch Trubisky. He couldn't start as a junior. I don't know how great Deshaun's going to be. I don't know if he's Cam's talent. And I don't know if, when I saw Andrew Luck, I was like, that's going to work. Deshaun Watson was available to Chicago.
Yeah.
Kevin Clark of The Ringer joining us. I remember saying at the time, listen, Nick Saban had 6 weeks twice and couldn't stop him. Johnny Manziel got drafted because he had one good game in Tuscaloosa. In fact, it was one good half. Deshaun Watson ate him alive with 6 weeks to prepare. Dabo called him Michael Jordan. Saban said, since Cam, best player I've seen in college football. If Deshaun Watson pops, is it going to be one of the all-time misses by NFL teams?
So let's stay on that analogy for a second. If Deshaun Watson is Michael Jordan, Trubisky's got a good chance, if he doesn't pop, to be Sam Bowie here.
You dumb fuck.
I think that the team, the Bears in general, there's a lot of hype building around them. And I think that that's because people see the Eagles model, which is young quarterback, offensive head coach. Let's surround the quarterback with talent and see what happens. But the lesson of the Eagles is not those things. It's to build the deepest roster in football. And the Bears don't have that. And Mitch Trubisky's not going to be surrounded with the guys that Carson Wentz or Nick Foles was surrounded by. It's not the same. So I feel like there could be a bit of a flop there. And then if Deshaun breaks out, which the last 6 games last season were unbelievable, if he breaks out, then we really start talking about that draft as a massive mistake.
He's a fucking idiot.
Who the fuck are the Eagles receivers other than Alshon? Name them for me. Go ahead, guys. I'll fucking wait for this asshole.
Nelson Aguilar, fucking Torrey Smith.
Yeah, exactly. Torrey Smith, the guy that they fucking traded already. They brought in fucking Mike Wallace. So you're saying, I think that, the Chicago Bears it's all about potential. They have the potential to easily be on par with that wide receiver core. But this fucking Sam Bowie and Michael Jordan analogy, Sam Bowie couldn't stay fucking healthy. He kept breaking his leg and his foot. So what's your analogy there, that Mitch Trubisky can't stay healthy?
No, he's trying to say that.
No.
I be the bust.
Right.
That Deshaun is a star because of his last.
Yeah, if Deshaun pops, you know what's popped on Deshaun? His fucking ACLs 2 times in the last 4 years.
I knew you were going there.
But it's
fucking Dr. Chao is listening and he's pissed at you.
But it's not mocking. I mean, hey, Deshaun played fantastic in his 6-7 games. Is anybody talking about his high volume of turnovers?
I think DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller had a lot to do with that, but that's a different discussion for a different day.
Exactly. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller, and Mitch is throwing to Josh Bellamy and the dude we got from fucking San Diego.
Trey McBride was looking pretty good for that one game.
Dowell didn't want to have the defense, get dictated, so we cut Tremaine and kept Josh Bellamy in there. You can't make this shit up. But honestly, guys, this is the kind of patheticness that built this show and the reason for it. I know as a loyal listener and a loyal person, BG listened to all our past shows as we built up till she got here, and she knows that this is why this crap can't be tolerated, because they haven't taken a fucking snap in the season in year 2 yet. They're defining a hypothetical scenario with underlying tones of wishful want for Deshaun to be that guy. Let me tell you something else. Coach Saban also said Tim Tebow is the best college player he's ever seen, college quarterback. So that's how you do to take these words and build a storyline. Now, I love Deshaun Watson. I wanted Deshaun Watson. It's on record. But
you and me both that night, Phil. Remember that night? We both were talking about it. It was like, hey, they're bringing in Watson tonight. Watch.
So in that regard, this story has not even started.
Exactly. That's the point.
That is the point. They've defined it already.
They're writing they're writing the last chapter in the book, and they haven't even gotten a title yet. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. And Aldo, did you pull the second piece of audio that went with that?
I did. We actually had a preview of it just a second ago, but I'll play the whole thing now in its proper order.
This just goes to show you people that, everybody should be aware, but just remember what Colin Cowherd just said, and now listen to what this next piece of audio is from last year.
After I think the Vikings game, after Trubisky's debut.
After his debut, yeah.
Finally, Mitch Trubisky. He is incomplete. I watched last night. There was so much I liked. He's athletic as heck. His accuracy does not dip when he's on the run. That's impressive. You ever seen Joe Flacco's accuracy when he runs? Awful. Trubisky's got good feet. Looked a little nervous. Not just because of one game, though. My problem is John Fox and the Bears signed Mike Glennon. 3-year contract, huge money. Defensive coaches don't understand quarterbacks and offensive players. Ask yourself, folks, who are the 3 really talented quarterbacks who for the last several years have been inconsistent? Cam, Andrew Luck, and Big Ben. All with defensive coaches. What quarterbacks have popped in the last year? Alex Smith, Kirk Cousins, Wentz, Goff, Dak. All with offensive head coaches. I saw a ton of potential with Mitch Trubisky last night. But long-term success, if Mitch Palooza's going to work, and I'm not a guy that calls for people's jobs, I think he needs an offensive coach. Cam, Big Ben, Luck. We expect more. We're getting less. I look at the report card, folks. We have an exciting group of young players. An A, 2 B pluses, a B. Trubisky, I'm crossing my fingers because I would love to see the Bears.
How many contradictions can you have in one segment?
Oh, it's disgusting.
So he got the offensive coach, Aldo. but now he's no good. So this is why we do this. And you clown ass fraud keyboard tweeting fucks that want to have your voice heard or whatever to try to get at us. Like, I care about you in the window, you fuck. I care nothing. Zero about any of the drama. What I care about is my boy Shayne speaking the truth, or my boy Aldo addressing a situation truthfully that has occurred from him. That stuff's
ridiculous.
Exactly. You fucking fraud boy. All I know is I stand up for my truth. There's no fraud. I like Johnny Manziel. I didn't fucking go back and delete my fucking tweets about it. I fucking hate Glennon. I don't go back and say, oh, Glennon looked good. Let me go delete. I don't do that. The show doesn't do that. Shayne, and I wanted to address it with Russell, but I got to be 100. Russell, if you're listening, I just don't want you to misconstrue my words. This show is to put people like Tom Jackson on notice to a fan culture that actually notices this isn't okay. So
come meet me at Portillo's and let's get it on.
Exactly.
Wait, we actually literally have to get it on? Literally?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
So fucking ridiculous. Stories are being written about guys. Mitch sucks because he got pissed off on the sideline, threw an interception. That stat scout has it. And the percentage of his passes based on the attempts that he's thrown deep, he's struggling with the deep ball. He's struggling with it. This stuff, come on. These are scrimmages. That's why he needs to be out there in the fucking 2-minute drill.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit.
Exactly.
Can we just talk about how at the RG3's first year, they thought he was going to be a gang buster, like he was going to be the truth.
Is he going to pop?
And he popped his fucking knee.
He literally did.
He was never the same.
What's this fucking pop, Trey?
I'm just saying, man, like all the stigma that, after 1 year, people are saying, oh, you need to go high on DeAndre. Yeah. I mean, fucking, what's the kid's name? Deshaun Watson. They're like, oh, you need to go high on him. He take him as your number one fantasy quarterback. I'm like, first of all, motherfucker, the guy played in 6 games? Come on, man.
Yo, I got to tell you, someone in the league drafted before me. I got Drew Brees in our fucking fantasy football league. I'm going to win this fucking thing. You just watch with Jordan Howard, first overall pick, Tucci, and Johnny Manziel, Joe Mondale, whatever the fuck his name is. I can't think of it right now. What's his name? I don't want
Joe.
Ain't winning shit. I'm winning that.
What's his name? Joe Mandel?
Mandel, yeah. Let's call him Howie.
Who was RG3? Hey, look, but Phil, who was RG3's backup quarterback when he was a rookie?
Yeah, dude just got $84 million guaranteed.
$84 million in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But my point was about the drafts was Deshaun went in front of Drew Brees, and that to me was like, whoa. But that shows that there's this giant hype around this. Yep. So there you
Can't
go.
take it this seriously. The rain is covering my theaters.
Reason saved my life so many damn times as my fantasy quarterback. It's been times I've been down by 30 and Drew Brees single-handedly won me that damn week. Single-handedly.
The heart wants what the heart wants, I guess.
Heart also wants what the dick wants.
Motherfucker had 7 touchdowns and 500 yards 1 week. I was like, what the fuck?
Shayne, anything else about that tweet that you want to put a button on?
No, it just, it plays, I don't know what the deal is. Like I said, we touched on this with Russell and this narrative, and it seems like the Bears were getting some hype. And I mean, I think you could see it even here on this show tonight, Aldo. We are all hyped up, and then you lost, the Bears go out and kind of lay flat in Denver, and you lose a little bit of that mojo, and seems like we're focusing on the negatives a little bit more so tonight. But it's, the narrative, and it seems like they want to steer this and paint with a broad stroke. It seems like they want to push Mitch Trubisky, and they want to make him kind of the guy to hate when it comes to Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes had a 69-yard touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill on third down, or on with 45 seconds left the other night, and it was in stride and it was beautiful. But did anybody see his interception that he threw that was horrific when he didn't even look off the safety? No, they're not going to talk about that. But yet we're going to talk about Mitch, getting vocal with Tariq Cohen. If Deshaun Watson came off the field and did that, it's going to be because he's a warrior, he's a leader, and that's the shit that drives me nuts.
I told you it was going to happen with this kid. They're going to start.
You're the smartest man, Phil.
I'm not. You are that. But I know on this show, I warned that they can't have nice things in Chicago.
Yeah.
You can't just be
Sorry.
hopeful. You can't just be hopeful. Go ahead.
I gotta pee.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Aldo's lying, and he actually has to go take a snake. Yeah. There's that laugh again.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're going to give me no music when you talk so long. You got to do it again.
You gotta get closer to that mic too, because you're sounding like you're fucking leaving the premises.
Yeah.
He's
Las Vegas.
He's talking to you, Phil.
I know.
You either just popped a couple Valium or you're falling asleep.
No, I was far away. This mic, I told you, is the karaoke mic. I ordered a new mic on Amazon because my son's fucking broke the mic.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm blaming everything on my sons. Yeah.
In college, he got hired as a serial killing profiler for the feds. Now that he's an adult, maybe he can explain what the fuck a blog is to a dude named Brez. He's the smartest man, and this is his best tweet of the week.
My best tweet of the week. I'm just trying to find it here. Give me a second.
Oh.
Hey, there it is. Yeah, I'm going to give a little love locally here, Aldo, if you can believe this. And that's at Bears Barroom sent out a tweet saying that it was an emotional Bears Hour live with at Fulfillo Monday night. Hashtag NFL coaching legend Sam Ratigliano joined Phil and BG to talk about his time coaching with the Cleveland Browns and offer his thoughts on our Chicago Bears coach. The coach is a great man. And I tuned in just like everybody else did last night. And I even reached out to my boy Phil today and told him how great of a show I thought it was. And Aldo, I think you made the comment it was one of the best BHLs ever, and I think it was the best. I mean, I could still be sitting down listening to Sam, wax poetic on the NFL and just everything in general. And Aldo, I know you reached out to me to see if I was going to be on BHL, and I told Phil I was busy, but I think it worked out perfectly. Phil and his uncle, it was just a special moment for family members, and really I'm actually very glad that I wasn't on there, because then I really wouldn't have been able to sit back and listen to it live. And I think it was a special moment for all of us here at the bar room. And I'm going to shout out my boy Phil here with the best, during the best tweet, because I really thought it was one of the best moments that really had together as a group, listening to him talk to his uncle. And yes, he was crying like a little bitch, so I have to call him out for that. But yeah, I know we go after people and we attack people for stuff that they may do or say wrong, but at the same time, we have to pat them on the back when they do something that's special. And I think we all experienced that last night at the bar room.
I would have to agree with you. That was a special moment. Draft Dr. Phil, you did a wonderful job, and I was moved by it. I listened to it today. I was driving out to go talk to Mike North and listen to it, and I was like choking up. It was really a special moment in Bears barroom history. And I'm going to send that audio. I'm going to contact the people over at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If they keep archives of interviews, I think that belongs in there so football historians can go back and listen to Sam share his stories in such an intimate way, too. So really, really nicely done.
Oh.
That's the only way a short white wide receiver from Hofstra's getting in there, Aldo.
That's it.
That's hilarious.
What the hell was that PG sound? It went, weird.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was not what that was.
That's how she calls all the angels.
It most certainly is fucking not.
No, I honestly thank you, because I wanted to say to you guys, I had for years kind of wanted to bring him on, but I didn't know when it was right. And I honestly am going to tell you what I told Shayne. I was kind of conflicted whether I should share this, but it's 100 proof. And the feedback from fans and Shayne, your words, man, thank you, and Aldo. And truthfully, Aldo said it after the show.
Can you fucking cry at least? Jesus
No,
Christ, let's make this real, fucker.
I want to say, in all honesty, that there's that moment afterwards when Aldo said, because we wrap up at the end and we stay on for a little while longer after we record these shows or go live. And I just didn't know how I felt about the show because I was so worried. We had drama behind the scenes with the phone call and confusing central time zones, all on me, totally on me. And I was so nervous the whole day, Shayne, because I've been around him my whole life, and at these moments, he's so amazing, just a great human being and a kind person, and he's not going to pat himself on the back. I will. He's a fucking legend. He's a legendary coach. He taught us all. And just his teachings and his stories, like you said, I just didn't know how I felt about it. And I listened to it on my morning drive because Aldo's words were what I went to sleep on. No, that was one of the best, if not the best, BHL or podcast ever on the Bears Barroom. I'm just like, maybe he's just trying to be nice because it was my uncle. You think. I'm never like that. I'm never nervous. Tonight, no nerves. Any night, interviewing anybody. But that night I was. And I listened to the show on my way into work this morning, and I felt so good about it. Like I don't think I was ever in the moment like that to ever listen to our shows the way I did. And I was so happy that I'll have that memory, because let's face it, we're all getting older and everything. And my father called me tonight. I had to take a breath. See, Shayne, what you did? Fucking got me emotional. How impressed he was, and how Sam was so fucking complimentary towards you handling him on this interview and showcasing him in the best light. My father was like, I was able to live again through listening to my coach, and you just did it. And my father was so grateful to Aldo and Bears Barroom, and I'm grateful that it happened. So I wasn't expecting to even talk about that, but I don't know where this emotion came from, but I just appreciate the kind words. You can edit all this shit out.
Oh, yeah, we'll get right on that.
Yeah. You're going to hear a promo tomorrow morning.
I hope not.
What a perfect
man. You don't edit shit out.
Exactly.
What a perfect segue to Steak and Whiskey to talk about the biggest pussies. Go ahead, take it away, Trey.
Play the motherfucking song.
Aww.
Bears Barroom, 100 proof.
Steak and whiskey. The Bears Barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey. That Bears Barroom vibe just hits me. Steak and whiskey. That Bears Barroom vibe.
I gotta tell you that Bears Girl is tearing up. Draft Dr. Phil is tearing up. I teared up this morning listening to the interview. Shayne never fucking tears up.
I only when I tear up, it's one gangster tear that rolls out my face on the side. You don't see that motherfucker. That's a gangster tear. I wipe that bitch off real quick.
Hey, no, Trey, that's not true. You and I both cried when the Bulls lost that coin toss to Sacramento this year.
Oh my gosh.
No, you know what? They won the coin toss, Shayne.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I got all fucked up there.
They lost the lottery.
Right, exactly.
Because they won the coin. It's just everything reversed. But anyway.
Sucks, man.
Man, what's up, man? The Steak and Whiskey song, man. Cut off early. What the fuck? It was the best part.
I cut it off because we got a 5-hour show.
Field's tears went all over the soundboard. His tears.
Covering my tears.
Listen, we're doing with Steak and Whiskey is changing again. This time, Trey is going to present three football players that he claims have to have big games this week in the all-important third preseason game. This is technically the fourth preseason game, but we know what I'm talking about. This is the preseason game where the starters usually go 3 quarters. And Trey's going to present 3 players, and we're going to comment on them of players that he thinks have to perform well. I'm going to start the music and turn it over to Trey.
All right, so like Aldo was saying, this is the preseason game where the guys go the whole half. The starters usually go the whole half. So it's the last chance we're going to be able to see them in the preseason until the big dance against the Packers Sunday night. And the first player I want to say, that needs to come out there and just go ham. I just need Mitch to go. I need him to have one of them games where he just fucking just marches right down the field. No problems with the calls. None of that. Nothing wrong with the headset. I want him to just march down the field. I want to see Allen Robinson snag the football from his perfect passes over the middle. I just want to see Mitch just take off. So he's the first player I need to see play good. What you guys think?
I absolutely agree with you 100%. I want to see them go down the field aggressively, run the read game, callous these guys up, and prepare them for the regular season. Mitch should have been in there, Trey. Shayne talked about it at the top of the show, and I did behind him, saying it was a mistake not leaving him in there for that 2-minute drill. This game, he's got to be in there for 3 quarters. Get him peppered up. Stop worrying about injuries. When you get hurt, when you're thinking about it, when you're going half speed, get people out there, let them play. It's the only fucking thing I agree with Mike North about.
I agree with you, but I do want to say this about Mitch Trubisky. it's clear that this is for lack of a better way of putting it, a process that Mitch is under. He's going to get better week after week after week. Mitch got a lot of heat for his performance against Denver, but I'm not in that same boat. Yeah, he made mistakes. You can't fumble the ball in the end zone. Yeah, you can't throw that ball, even though Tariq Cohen stopped the route, but you still can't throw that ball. Yeah, he made some mistakes, but take into account that this is a young quarterback who is learning a new offense in his second season, who has a total of how many professional games having started and another 13 as a collegiate quarterback. What we know about Mitch is that he's got the competitive spirit, he's got the physical tools, he's got the know-how and leadership capabilities to become a great quarterback. It's not going to happen overnight, ladies and gentlemen. We have to have patience with Mitch Trubisky because it is going to happen, but it might be later than sooner.
I was going to say one more thing, although like I completely agree with you. I'm not saying it's supposed to happen overnight, but I just want to see improvement. Like I said, every week, I want to see improvement from last week. I don't want to see the fumble in the end zone. I don't want to see the overshot to Kevin White throwing it past him in the end zone. I don't want to see you see Tariq running the wrong route. I don't want to see you throw that football. You know,
I'm with you. Yeah,
but like you said, he has all the intangibles that you want in a guy. You know, Mitch is the guy. I don't care what anybody says. If you think otherwise, fuck you.
So he's not overstriding his throw to make it off like 2 inches from the target, even though he completed the target and was a full-on blitz, and he stepped into it, delivered the strike perfectly as you'd want it. You don't want to see that again. Captain USA, you fuck. What are you? I've never seen anything like that turn into a political debate. Captain Jackass on Twitter. Sorry.
Let's go to player number 2 on Trey's list.
So player number 2 is someone who's been he's been getting very scrutinized over the last year and a half. Honestly, which I don't understand why. You know, I had a conversation with him personally back in April, and I let him know, man. I had a talk with him. I said, hey, man, this year when you're blocking for Trubisky, don't let anybody get past you. I need you to just get the call right. You know, call blocking schemes out. I need you to do your thing this year, man. It's time. We're ready to go to the playoffs. And player I'm talking about this year, right now, number 2 is Cody Whitehair. I need Cody Whitehair. You know, they say he had a bad snap. That fucking snap wasn't on him, man. Come on. That shit hit Trubisky in his hands. You got to catch that shit, dog.
Absolutely.
That shit hit you in your hands. You know? You're playing in Denver. It's loud as fuck there. You're in the fucking... You're backed up inside your goal. You're inside your end zone. Cody Whitehair got you the ball in your hands, dog. Don't throw that on my dog like that, man. Come on. You know, I'm tired of people saying, rush James Daniels out there. Oh, we need to get James Daniels out there. Motherfucker, Cody Whitehair is a good center. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You know, they bring up botch snaps. One of the main botch snaps he had last year is because fucking Mike Glennon gave him the symbol to snap the football. His dumbass wasn't ready for it. They hit him. That's what the giraffe gaff came from.
The giraffe gaff.
Never forget. Hashtag never forget.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I think, though, that Matt Nagy is, I think, putting Cody Whitehair on notice because of the snaps that he's seen in practice and some just, you know, imperfections, which I think Matt Nagy should do. I have every confidence that Cody Whitehair is going to be an all-pro center. I do. But, you know, we can't deny the fact that, you know, there have been some mistakes, right? And I think Trey makes a good point. He needs to have a solid game this upcoming weekend and prove to everybody, shut the naysayers, and let's move forward.
I agree. I mean, but that's what the practice is. The issue that we have, especially, I know I've been the fucking guy in the front of the army marching this, is that you have people saying plethora of bad snaps. And so many bad snaps last year. And I'm looking on the tape, and I don't see that.
2 or 3 a game, Phil.
I see two. I saw two the whole fucking season. It turned into this. There was an issue in preseason last year that he had a couple bad snaps in practice. Guess what? James Daniels, who I love, had bad snaps in practice. That's why it's so important for him to be out there. Because you know what, bloggers, when you were deleting your tweet that you tweeted because you thought it was Cody Whitehair's fault, but then video, which never lies, you always hear me say it, showed it was Trubisky, to Trey's point. So let's see what happens as we move forward. But that doesn't matter in that game. At the end of the day, in September, when they're lining up against the Green Bay Packers, is anybody remembering what happened in Denver? Come on. That's why this gets so ridiculous, so dumb.
Shayne, you got a thought you want to share?
Snapgate.
I was just going to say, good for you, you ball washer. You know what it was, Phil? The bad snap, it was still a turnover, and Trubisky was there. So I'm on Trubisky. Put in Tyler Bray, Chase Daniel. Trade your first rounder for Josh McCown.
Now who you think you're talking to?
B, bring me a pecan pie.
Oh my God.
All right, let's move on there, Trey. Who is number 1 on your list?
Before I go to number
B. He said B, bring me a pecan pie.
Oh my God.
I actually fucked up. She does cookies, right? I don't know where the fuck I said pie for.
Maybe
well, and her name is not B.
Maybe because you want a pie.
That's what I always hear him say too.
He always calls her B, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Canada just fumbled the ball right there.
Her name is BB. He's allowed to call her B, folks, not us.
So I had to put that extra B in there?
In the impression that he's doing of him.
Yeah,
he should
talking
be able
like
to call
Mike
it
Thornton.
B. Come on.
Captain Obvious.
Stick to your stilettos there, Bears girl.
Break that news, Bears girl. What do we got? What's Mike North cooking?
I just want to say one more thing about Cody Whitehair. A lot of those big games from Jordan Howard last year, do you really think Bradley Soule was the reason behind those?
Yeah.
Cody Whitehair was sealing off defenders left and right for Jordan Howard to have those big lanes. I just want to throw that out there.
That makes sense. All righty, sir. Who do you have for number? Is it number 3 or number 1? Are we doing a countdown or a count? Number 3. Who do you have for number 3?
I mean, you're the boss, man. We're doing it however the hell you want to do it.
How about number 3? Give us number 3.
So, number 3, man. Hell, I couldn't even tell you how long we've been waiting for this player to show up. Hell, we've been waiting for him to show up since I fucking first started dating Ashley. We've been waiting on years for this dude, man.
I know who you're talking about.
The guy who needs to show up and get on fucking Saturday is Kevin White, man. You need to show up. We need to see something, man. Like, come on. You had a first down, you catch a run the other day. That was cool. You picked up that first down on that pass interference. That's fine. But we need you to just go out there and just dominate somebody, man. Like, come on. I'm tired of hearing about him being fast and strong and he looks good. I mean, I've seen him look good in person, but I want to see that shit like in the game when the fucking lights are on, man. I'm fucking tired of somebody just fucking not carrying this weight, man. Like, you fucking first round pick. You ain't did shit for us. I've done more for the Bears than you have. What the fuck? Shit, man.
Nelson said you got to give him a chance, Trey. Got to give Kevin White a chance. Maybe he'll break out in year 5. Oh, BB. Look at my BB cookies there.
Trey's boy Nelson lost belief after one preseason game.
He did.
For the
Nelson actually DM'd me. He's like, "I'm sorry, man. You were right. You were right." That's Nelson. It took a drop. It took a drop third down pass to tell you that. Good Lord. He got all that extra playing time, and he still really made almost no impact.
Hey, did you hear from Marlon this week, Shayne?
Yeah, what was it? Oh, yeah, he was. I did. He chimed in and said he was sticking up for Tariq Cohen on the screen because he said that it was the blocker's fault for not pancaking the linebacker that actually tackled Tariq on what should have been a 35-yard gain. That was a 9-yard gain. But yeah, that's cool.
We're talking about when Tariq Cohen cut to the inside instead of outside was wide open.
Yeah, when he had that 60 yards to the that opening to the right-hand side, and he got tackled and made us I
thought he was going to be gone.
Oh, me too, Trey. Me too. For a preseason game, I mean that got me on the edge of my chair. I was like, "Oh, here we go. There he goes." Oh, what just happened?
Guess what? How much does the narrative change if Trubisky hits him on that screen? He goes 89 yards. It's a touchdown. That's the problem with this whole fucking football landscape, for lack of a better terms. I almost said something else to get us in trouble. But I just got to say this truthfully. The narratives are made and created on Sundays in the fall, not in August, okay? And that will be the story forever. To anybody tell me that the Bears aren't as good as the Packers right now, they have zero clue. I don't know how good the Bears could be. I see it on paper, but when I'm concerned, you know what? Less about the fucking injuries with this one and that one and all that, but more about some of the decisions in personnel again. And the decisions in the 2-minute drill and the decisions with Kevin White. I'm just keeping it 100. I've been excited about Matt Nagy. You've heard me. But some of the things that we've pointed out, Kevin White in the Hall of Fame game, 2-minute drill with Trubisky not playing. Why isn't James Daniels getting reps with the ones for Cush?
I've had a huge issue with that. I'm like, man, throw his ass out there. Let's see what he got.
Cush looks like lost.
Cush
I don't even know.
Cush looks like Reggie Weed.
Holy
not Cush Weed. He looks like Reggie Weed.
It's why he's been a backup offensive lineman his entire career.
Shayne, some of these things are
people. I think they get so caught up in the Hard Knocks and his friggin' tank tops, and he seems like a good guy off the field, but at the end of the day, he's been a guy that's bounced around the league, and he's a journeyman backup. That doesn't mean he's a bad player. No, he can actually be a very valuable guy. He can be a spot starter, and that's what it is. But you put your investment into James Daniels at number 35 overall. Number 35. He's 20 years old. Play him.
For a player to
Play him. It just that's been my biggest thing with Nagy so far is there's no did we really need to see Jordan Howard for 9-10 carries against Denver?
I tell you what though, Shayne, that motherfucker looked sharp, didn't he?
Oh, he did. But
looked sharp. I'm like, hold on, Howard. Say that for the game, man. Say that for Sunday.
Exactly.
Say that for the Packers.
You're a big running back, and you have a limited amount of times you can get hit before things start to go the other way. And he's still young, but I don't need to see Jordan Howard, getting hit low and dropping the hammer on a guy, in the third preseason game. I don't need to see that. Shit. Yeah, I don't need to see that.
Dude, so late too.
He did.
Look like he was bending him.
On that one, Phil, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm like, oh shit!
Phil, did you see your boy Kyle Long out there?
Oh, yeah, fucking playing his ass up.
Fuck, dude,
listen,
man, I'm like,
Bobby Massey and fucking Cush
terrible
must have gotten their fucking asses chewed Because I'm sitting there fucking in a barbecue, and I'm fucking like, oh my God, you fucking just missed the cutoff block.
So you came back. So you were upset with me when I said he got folded up by Geno Atkins. I get it, it's Geno Atkins, but you could put up some type of fight at least. Dude shouldn't put you down like how I would put down a third grader.
Listen,
you shouldn't get did like that. That shit was bad.
I'll give Aldo credit because I saw Eric Kush come in versus the Vikings and look 20 times better than Ted Larson.
Yeah.
Then he got injured.
That's not saying a lot either, though.
But still, at that time, you saw athleticism and movement skills that the other guards, even sitting, wasn't showing. So to see this kind of play so far, it's especially with Harry Heaston. Now, again, he's learning new techniques too, Kush is. So I just think the personnel in that offensive line, I just don't know. And you know what, Shayne? You got these two young bucks sitting there.
Yeah.
What are you going to lose with Coward and fucking Daniel? Why not get Coward some fucking second team?
I hear you, and I said that's the thing too. You know, Bobby Massey's heading into a contract year, and you know that, like you said, Phil, he put those reps on tape. You know, that doesn't matter if it's a preseason game. You know they review practice reps, and you know Bobby Massey. That's what makes a guy like Rashad Coward so valuable, because he's just scratching that surface of, this guy was a defensive lineman, never played offensive line ever until he got to the NFL level. And you know, he very well could be your starting right tackle next year.
He put a lot of good things on tape too.
You're damn right. Yeah.
I mean, fuck, dude, for switching from defensive lineman to fucking offensive tackle, that's a huge fucking difference, you know? I was gonna say, a lot of people saw Eric Kush. He posted that video when he was like deadlifting like 500 pounds. They thought he was gonna just come out there and just be a gangbuster, offensive guard. Like, it's a lot more to that. It's just your strength, man. Like, you know, you gotta have your technique down out there with those guys, those professionals.
Hey, check this out, Trey. Hate to interrupt, but Trey, you know that Phil was out at the Mott's gathering this past weekend, and we've been playing some clips from his interviews with people. This one, our last one for this show, is my favorite. Take a listen.
Name Chick the Comedian. What's going on, man? Bears Bar when we here.
You understand the game, right?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Here we go. Walter Payton.
Legend.
Brian Urlacher.
Hall of Famer.
Matt Stafford.
Average.
Packer fans.
Ass.
Mitch Trubisky.
The future.
Tariq Cohen.
Tariq Hill.
Nice. I like that. Look at you. You are a fantasy football player. I see. Lovie Smith.
Miss him.
Whoa, look at this. Look at this. Dowell Loggins.
Who?
Adam Shaheen.
Touchdown machine.
Aaron Rodgers.
My secret crush.
Bears Barroom Radio.
Surprisingly great.
It was surprisingly great. That was a long pause for the nation out there. We might have to edit and chop it closer.
I love that one. That guy was cool, man.
Except for the secret crush part.
Except for the secret crush part. Hey, I have a secret crush on Aaron Rodgers too, except it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah.
I hope he secretly gets crushed. That's what I hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done. Well done. Oh, man, these cookies. BB North makes the best effing cookies. I'm going to tell you something. Prior to meeting Mike North, I probably had 10 cookies in the last 10 years. Since meeting...
Really?
Yes. I'm not a big cookie guy. Just don't do it.
What?
I went over to the North House. She gave me a cookie. I like butterscotch candies and stuff, so she gave me a butterscotch cookie. I think since then, I've had 20 butterscotch cookies. And I'm going to have another couple tonight while I'm editing this show. So my first shout out is to BB North and her delicious cookies. All right, I want to turn it over to Bears Girls. Got some shout-outs.
We got to shout out Air Jer, not dead Air Jer, but the real Air Jer 54.
I like cookies.
For connecting us with our first guest tonight, Dr. Chao. Obviously got to shout out Dr. Chao and Russell Baxter for spending their Tuesday night with us. And I have 3 birthdays. Mitch Trubisky, happy belated. Your birthday was yesterday. Jim McMahon, your birthday is today. And one of our barflies, Mr. English Chai Bears, your birthday was today as well.
Nicely done, Bears Girl. I think Bears Girl actually preps for shout-outs because
I do.
You do a hell of a job on them. Shayne, you got a
I
shout-out?
got to keep up with Phil, so I've been practicing really hard.
Well, for Phil, it's easy. He shouts out everybody.
I know.
Shayne, you got a shout-out or two?
Pass.
What about dead? What about dead Air Jared? Does he have a shout-out?
Yeah, what kind of cookies did you say those were? Because I seriously would love to make sweet love to each and every one of those right now.
Oh, man.
Fire up my box fan, pull my pants down, and I'll put some butterscotch on those things. Old Air Jared butterscotch.
Man.
All right.
PG, you want some?
No, I don't like butterscotch. I'm good. Thanks.
This is Southwest Indiana scotch. You'll
Yeah.
love it.
No cream-filled cookies here. No, thanks. I'm good.
Cream-filled donuts.
Trey Busy, you got any shout-outs?
Yeah, shout out to the supplier, man, for hooking me up with that good-ass weed.
We're going to edit that out.
Russell Baxter?
Shout out to Kush. Not the one that played for the Bears. but the Kush that you smoke.
Nice. All right. Phil, Draft Dr. Phil, you got some shout-outs?
I want to shout out Bears Barroom for being original and bringing anybody on with a difference of opinion and doing it the right way by settling your grievances with words, not with keyboards, and being keyboard tough guys. So the programming, and thank you, Aldo, for producing and doing such a great job with the shows that have been tremendous. I want to shout out Adam Rank, Paige DeMacos, Greg Gabriel, Emery Hunt, Jeff Risden, all of them promoting the show and retweeting Bears Bar Room and Bears Hour Live and the shows that we did. It just says the product that, stands up and the nice messages they sent. So I want to shout them out. Dustin Reagan Badia. It takes a lot of balls to say someone convinced you of something you already felt. And the fact that I was able to do that and you were able to shout that out, it means a lot. My boy, Coach Kevin C. Koch over there in Northwestern. I want to shout him out. Obviously, Scar from Monsters of the Tri-State. You guys are awesome. That was so much fun, as you could tell, with the personalities. So many others wanted to record, but my battery died on my phone. So I had to be prepared and bought a new battery pack now. So I got to do that. And then obviously one last shout out for my uncle for coming on and sharing his story and really expressing to my father today how much it meant to him to be able to tell his story to fans and be able to do it with me in the process of that. And I just wanted to do that. And actually, one more shout out. I can't forget this guy, Bobby Phelan. Bobby Phelan is not only great at what he does and helping promote the show here, but also just being a true barfly to the core those types of guys that are leaders, that are people that are not afraid to stand up for the truth in the programming and really go out of their way to help this show be where it is behind the scenes. Those people really deserve a lot of credit too, like him. And I just wanted to take the time out to shout him out.
Nicely done, Draft Dr. Phil. I got some shout outs too. As some of you know, I posted a personal note on the bearsbarroom.com website and left my email, and a few people reached out to me. I want to shout them out. Jason, Steven Zimmerman, Brett Heimbeck. I also want to shout out Greg Braggs, Dustin Reagan Padilla, Bobby Phelan, and Brett Maley, who reached out to me with some thoughts. I really appreciated that. If I left anybody out who reached out to me regarding that personal note that I wrote, I apologize, and I'm really sorry. There's one other person I want to shout out, and that is Mike Brez. Mike Brez and I had a long discussion over DM. I informed him that I was going to unfollow him, and it was nothing personal. We discussed the situation that happened at Soldier Field and arrived at a really good place where he understood where I was coming from. I understood where he was coming from. I don't think we agreed on a lot of things, but we agreed that unfollowing one another was probably the best thing. So I want to express my appreciation to Mike Brez. I am now officially retiring the ridiculous drop. It will no longer appear on Bears 100 Proof. Maybe we can use it elsewhere. But it is time to turn a new chapter at Bears Barroom. And with that, I am telling everybody to be very careful out there. If you drink, please do not drive. And always bear down.
That's ridiculous.
Are you like literally bearing down? Is there an actual bear involved in that? Bearing down out there? Is that literally what's happening here?
I don't know what window you guys are looking into, but I wasn't aware of this.
A millisecond.
Yeah, at least we got millisecond. At least we got that.
Is that fucking cookie warm, Aldo?
Oh my God, it's so fucking good. This is my fourth one today.
So didn't they make it on like hot dogs? So now maybe they can make it with their cookies.
Well, they sold the cookies at the hot dog stand.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They probably came for the fucking cookies. That's his trick.
I think there's some drug in it, man, because it's like a crack, man. I am so high right now. I'm gonna be up all night.
I guess Mike North doesn't have our addresses, Phil, huh?
No. Mail doesn't come to Canada.
Man, I tell you.
Swear, Mike, I feel
But maybe he'll bring me cookies when he comes up to Hollywood North to film his movie.
Oh, he's going up to Canada?
Nah, it's where a lot of movies film.
I know.
The grizzly bear washing.
That's right. There's a chance they might film that movie. I mean, I've seen a lot of movies that are take place in Chicago that are filmed in Canada for cost purposes. But I know they want to film in Chicago. We'll see what kind of budget they get.
Was this like a documentary?
No, this is going to be a Hollywood feature with actors like a Howard Stern Private Parts.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I was just gonna ask you.
Yep.
His story.
His story, exacally.
Can I play young Mike North and then Shayne play old Mike North?
I'm gonna be in that fucking thing. I tell you that, Aldo.
Oh my God.
If he doesn't get ball washer in the movie, fucking fire him now.
I think if they shoot in Chicago, there's a chance we might get a bar fly or two in as an extra.
There you go.
Well, no, he needs to have a fucking barroom T-shirt from the swag shop, right?
Oh, for
when they're interviewing him.
Well, if Aldo moves his head, you can see some of them.
I don't see anything.
Look at that.
Oh, they're in the background.
Video.
They're there.
Oh man, that smartest man T-shirt's sweet.
Yeah, I don't got any video. I don't know why. Oh, there it is. Now I'm starting to see it. Bears Hour Live. Look at that. Is that does my face come on the back like drying my tears? Oh, that's my favorite.
Bears ball wash.
Oh no, the next one you see will be your favorite. Yeah, go get it. He knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, I like that. Not blowing smoke T-shirt, yo. Look at that.
We don't have one of those yet. It's coming.
That's what she said.
The Buffon 55.
The Buffon 55.
The hoodie.
I ain't buying a
Show
Buffon
them
55.
Show them the barfly one.
When's he coming on this fucking show? That's what I want to know. Right, Shayne? Are we buying a hoodie?
That's the limited edition one, guys.
There it is. Barfly.
Is there a B on it? There it is.
There it is.
I'm an R fly.
We actually have, two designs.
Nice.
And there is 100 proof one. I don't know where it is, but I sent him that too.
Sweet.
Like I said, I've been busy in my fucking little sweatshop. I'm sorry, swag shop, whatever it's called.
There it is.
Look at it. Put it on, Gandia. Do your thing.
Take off.
Fucking runway model, you.
Oh my god. Thank God this show is not video. We would have lost so many people by now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Leave your pants on, dude. What the fuck?
He's showing you what happened.
They gotta take his jeans off, put a shirt on.
Yeah. He's gotta go to the bathroom. Those cookies.
Is that an Alexa back there?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, look at him.
He's got a tattoo. He's got the bear.
He's trying to convince me to model for the swag shop webpage. I told him the phone has dibs.
Oh, get on it.
There he is. Showing off.
Yeah, when's that video coming, Aldo?
Look at those fucking freckles on his shoulder. Look at that guy.
I think those are age spots.
Maybe those could be cookie crumbs. I'll still eat them.
When are we getting the video reveal of this thing that you have?
Oh. I'm gonna work on it tomorrow. I'll still be up after eating all these fucking cookies.
Well, then maybe I should have sent you a larger size shirt.
No shit. How much? The triple XLs are a little extra, right? They cost a little extra.
Yes, the extra larges are at an additional cost, but that's normal.
Triple X though, damn.
Yeah, we go to 3XL on a lot of the swag items, and 5XL on the hoodies.
Holy fucking shit! 5XL.
Was that
man,
because was that Buffon 55? Why they went to 5XL?
I can use that to cover up my fucking car when it rains.
No. We are respectful of all shapes and sizes of our barflies, and we did have requests, several of them, for some husky sizes.
Husky.
5X? I didn't even think shit came to 5X.
No shit, I never heard of 5X.
My neighbor, his mom, this kid was a fat little Italian fuck. And his mom, he would like always say he has piano or organ lessons when we're all playing tackle football outside. And I was like, I just want this fucker to come out so I can fucking stick his ass. So he never would come out. And then in the summer, he would be like flaunting a fucking European style fucking bathing suit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly.
His big belly's hanging. He had no shame. So I go, you are so fucking chunky and fucking, what is going on? You're so fat, one of the girls said. So his mom, Italian, just sounds like I'm going to imitate her. Sounds a little bit like the Aldo mother impression. She would be like, Filatoshi, you don't make a fun of Dino. He has the baby fat.
Baby fat.
The baby fat. He's 13.
That's a grown man fat. Hey, at a certain age, it's not called baby fat no more. That's grown man fat.
Right.
You a grown ass man, dog.
Hey,
that shit ain't cute no more.
Did she also tell you this?
I want to make love to you tonight.
No. That would have scared the shit out of me, though.
Wow, we just went to a dark place.
I don't know, man.
The heart wants what the heart wants, I guess. Heart also wants what the dick wants.
Captain Obvious.
I can't believe you took our ridiculous fucking drop.
That's ridiculous. You took it.
Captain Obvious.
I don't agree with the ridiculous.
You want to hear it one last time?
It's ridiculous.
It's such a classic.
All right, why don't
we run the other ones?
Why don't we run a poll? Bears Girl, you mind setting up a poll whether we should retire?
Can do that.
Barflies. Maybe it should come out with the podcast so they know. Maybe.
You can't do that. You have to do them separate because we won't let you. It's either a poll or it's a.
No, I mean after the podcast is released.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, then set it out after. Like, what time do you think it'll be out?
If I eat another cookie, it'll be out in about 10 minutes.
All right. So,
3 o'clock.
What's our poll, people?
I'm all about keeping ridiculous. Shayne?
Yeah.
Wait, so what is it going to be, like a poll to see which drop we get rid of?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Rid of one?
I think you phrase it this way.
Go ahead.
In the spirit of being a nicer, better Bears bar room.
Really? I can't even type this without vomiting.
Aldo has decided to retire the ridiculous drop. Do you agree or disagree? Something like that.
That's you're fucking good at this shit, bro.
Hey, man, I got 2 Emmys, brother.
I know. Ready? Can you give us your Emmy speech without tearing up?
Yeah, I can. It went something like this. I hope that this award will represent a new era in me getting more pussy.
Oh my God, you're taking over for Russell going to that NFL Women Weekend over in Canton. God, what a
hanging
fool
out
now.
with 17 girls.
How was that with your boy, Shayne?
It was, I felt like I was talking to a bowl of warm oatmeal there for a little while, but...
Bowl of warm oatmeal. I don't know what that means, but that's funny as hell.
The fact that Trey said it.
Hey.
Was he being mushy with you or what?
Yeah, it was hard to get into there for a little while. He was gonna win my tweet of the week. I called Phil. And I'm like, hey, I gotta run this by you. 'Cause he sent me a fucking tweet and said that I have no substance and I should stick. If I stuck to football, I'd be a little bit more well known than I am, and I have no substance.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna read it, and I was gonna say, I'm all substance, motherfucker. That's what I was gonna say, but
So I'm confused. All right, so let me ask this. Let me ask this then. So where did the where did the almond joy or Snickers question come into play?
that was all Russell. Yeah, he pulled that one out of his.
What was he like? He had him in his pocket or something, or what? Like,
yeah, he wears one of those Euro bathing suits also. I think.
Oh my god.
Well, he got a little fired up because
satchel or what?
Yeah, man, Merce. Yeah, it's got a Merce. Man purse.
Do you remember the commercial for Mounds and Almond Joy? Remember that?
Bologna pony.
Yeah.
Can you find that commercial real quick?
Which one?
What, they want a fucking island or
Some
something?
got nuts. Mounds.
Trey, I asked him about Tom. I don't know if you remember it. Do you remember when Tom Jackson ethered Jay Cutler for when he was walking into Soldier
him
Field?
if he does or doesn't. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Okay, listen to the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you'll hear everything. And you'll see the energy we couldn't. There it is.
Shayne's got nuts and Phil don't.
Oh, you're going for Russell. You took it out on me.
Well, you're fucking. I didn't want you to start crying again. Holy fuck. Christ.
You guys got me emotional.
Well, honestly, although I don't know how you would expect me to comment on that 1970s commercial when I clearly have never seen it before. Why don't you go ask that 1970s commercial? I can't comment on that. I mean, clearly. Ask the children that were in that commercial, Aldo. I mean, it just seems a little ridiculous that you'd be asking me when I had nothing to do with that commercial, Aldo. I mean, Aldo. What's going on, Aldo?
Aldo.
Respect the elderly,
He
motherfucker.
described this man as being a bowl of warm oatmeal. Like,
Everyone quiet down.
It's
like
Say it
a
one more
bowl of
time.
fucking warm oatmeal. Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
It's just picture yourself sitting at your table and you had a bowl of warm oatmeal and you just carry on a conversation with it and just see where it goes, Trey. That's kind of how I felt for a while tonight. Am I out of line? I mean, it was. At one point, I looked and Aldo was reclined back in his seat, I think, throwing paper balls up into the air, trying to catch him.
Clean up your mouth, all right?
You ball washer.
BG's just mad right now because she knows her DMs are going to get flooded if this makes the show.
Yeah, really.
This shit makes
Yeah, because he's already DM'd that he had a great time. He thought, you guys were all great and
he's an
enjoyed himself. And Shayne sent me a chocolate bar.
That would make a really great song.
Yes, BG. Hey, Phil, get on it.
I've been thinking of songs for Russell all night.
Make one with the fucking Almond Joy jingle.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm gonna do that.
Put Ebony and Ivory, and it can feature Baxter and Trey, two completely different people, right? Do a little Ebony and Ivory thing, Trey. You think that'll work?
No, probably not. But do the thing with the Almond Joy. Probably not. But do the Almond Joy thing. That's pretty fucking funny, I think.
I'm sorry. My favorite part was Shayne. Okay, BG, over to you. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, that's when I was starting to sweat because I was getting that little fucking vein in my temples popping out. Yeah,
I think I'm gonna Photoshop his. He got that little stock picture, that little Google stock picture looking thing. I'm gonna Photoshop his head on a fucking Quaker Oats little motherfucker. The little Captain Crunch motherfucker.
I just pictured
fucking Shayne was like he's like talking to a bowl of fucking oatmeal. I instantly
I just picture Russell going to pick up donuts on a Sunday morning wearing a t-shirt that says, "I fuck on the first date."
Oh, Jesus Christ. Please do not make this part of the show.
Wait, with some fucking shorts on.
Yeah, fucking acid wash jean shorts, yeah.
Oh my god.
And Aldo's worried about fucking dropping drops. Getting rid of ridiculous. I just ethered the end of the show.
Really?
Well, it was nice while it lasted.
Please make that drop. That gotta be one.
Trey saying staring at oatmeal was
That shit had me dying.
warm oatmeal. That's the best drop of the year.
You just picture a big fat motherfucker just walking out of the fucking donut shop. Fuck with a first date shirt on. It's a fucking
No shame in it at all. Just
zero fucks.
Walking by grandmothers and shit. That's fuck on the first date.
Look, if you wear a shirt that got cursed on a Sunday, you don't give a fuck about anything.
Right.
I just felt such a relief.
What's that?
That's one of my favorite drops that I've never used.
I just felt such a relief.
That's when they take the joints off at the end of the day.
Hey Trey, did you know that Phil's got a relative that has a hair salon place? Here's a commercial for it.
My name is Show Cantel Brown, and I sure can tell you need to come down to our bereave because you need to take care of your hair.
Yes.
Hey Shayne, Russell asked me to deliver this message to you.
Hey, fuck you, Shayne.
Yeah, fuck you.
Hey, that gotta be fucking happens. He always has animosity towards Shayne, though. You ever notice that?
But they're friends
They're
now.
friends now. We pieced it out.
Yeah, he refollowed me a couple days ago.
Time. All right, guys. Remember, if you drink, invite me over.
Good morning.
Adios.
Later, guys.
Talk tomorrow.
Want to talk about these dudes and say they ain't phony, and if she's ever lonely, Beach can get that baloney pony.